Yes, it's Wednesday. It's Happy Fun Day here at Fantasy Football Today, presented by Volkswagen Das Auto. I'm Nando DeFino. That's Jamie Eisenberg. That's Dave Richard. Coming to you live from Cleveland, Ohio's Nathan Zagura. Good afternoon, sir. What's happening?
Good afternoon, Nando. Always excited for a little hump day action right here on Fantasy Football Today.
That's how we roll in South Florida. Let's get to the 5 big stories. I think number one, pretty obvious. Julio Jones, kaput. Well, not kaput. Probably out for the season. They're saying 12 to 16 weeks with a broken screw that he already had. And it's essentially kaput. Let's get a question out here. From Brooke. I'm a Julio Jones owner in a keeper league, 5th-round pick. What value should I be able to get for him? Nathan, what do you think? We haven't heard too many keeper questions about Julio Jones. This is a good one.
No, this is a good one. I think certainly you should get some good value, but my advice to you would be to just hang on to him and you have him next year as a 5th-round player. Julio Jones will be back. He's dominant, second in the NFL, 580 receiving yards, only behind Jimmy Graham, number 1 among all receivers. So that's a guy you want to keep on your team. But if you're selling, certainly there's legit sales pitch to be made there. And by the way, sweet new graphic on the top stories of the week.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's all Flango. Flango's getting the graphics on the top stories. Jared got this scroll moving behind our heads here. It's pretty, we're living the life down here, man. Come down.
No, it's serious.
Bring
I'm
your, bring your salmon-colored shirt.
It's tough to, it's not salmon, this is orange, bro. It's orange.
Hey,
like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, just like the Cleveland Browns. Question for you two in the studio.
Oh, sure.
You weren't very hot on Harry Douglas this morning. I mean, It seems like you'd like Keenan Allen more than Harry Douglas.
Yes.
It's true.
Oh, yes.
All right. How about
He's
Zach
not the
Stacy?
only one. Over Harry Douglas?
Yeah.
Yes.
In a PPR league, I'll give the nod to Harry Douglas there. But in a standard league, yeah, Stacy is who I'd rather have on my roster.
Let's go to big story number 2. Rob Gronkowski to play in Week 6? Question mark. And we got a new game. I'm going to call it Guess the Date. Jamie, you go first.
It's like a baby pool, but with Rob Gronkowski.
I thought you call it Find Your Notes as you're scrambling.
Relax, guys. It's a fun game. Tell me what date this was put out there.
Okay.
50-50 chance that Gronkowski would play Sunday.
Week 2.
September 19th. I don't know what that means in terms of weeks. No, it's probably like week 4.
It's like week 3.
3. Dave, guess that date. Tight end Rob Gronkowski has a, quote, very good chance to play Sunday night.
Sounds like week 4.
September 25th.
Yep.
Nathan, source on Gronk. As of today, he is playing. Guess that date.
Week 4.
September 27th. Jamie, Gronkowski is expected to be cleared this week.
I think we get your point. I'm just saying.
That's today's.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
So
at this
no,
point,
I think we've learned our lesson that you have to wait until he's officially active before you can be totally sure about starting him.
So here's the
Which
question.
leaves a problem if you've got Martellus Bennett and Rob Gronkowski. Did I just take your question?
You took the note.
I took your question.
Go ahead.
You
Answer
know what
it.
I asked? I think you have to start Bennett, assuming he's active on Thursday, and ahead of the risk of Rob Gronkowski. And I think Nano illustrated why. Just in case the Patriots show up on Sunday and he's not 100%, we're going to make him inactive for this game. I don't think they'll do it. I think they need him for this game. But you don't know for sure, and we've been guessing for so long, you have to wait for something definitive.
Big story number 3. Ahmad Bradshaw's season officially over. We kind of knew that was coming. Trent Richardson value up, Jamie?
It's kind of just eh. I mean, you got to see something from this guy at this point. You know, he's got the opportunity to be great. It's another good matchup for him, but he's struggling right now. He can't get over 4 yards a carry. You know, if he doesn't score a touchdown, your fantasy value is kind of limited, but he's got so much potential that you almost have to put him in your lineup on a weekly basis.
What about Donald Brown? We were looking at a lot of the ads and the drops in the expert or the analysis leagues. He got one bid, I think, in the whole of all of our leagues.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have some kind? I mean, Trent Richardson is kind of fragile.
Yeah, he's actually has more fantasy points the last 2 weeks than Trent Richardson. So, you know, you're looking at where these two guys are right now. I don't think you're going to start Donald Brown over Trent Richardson, but, you know, he's an injury away. Donald Brown is from being Willis McGahee, Zach Stacy, you know, one of these running backs that you may need to start just based on, you know, not having somebody available to you as we go through the bye week. So I don't think it's a bad idea if you have a roster spot to speculate on Donald Brown. He's just not good. And again, Richardson, if he can't get the job done, it's not like Donald Brown's going to all of a sudden come in and blow the doors off this running game. But, you know, if he gets the opportunity to start, then he'll be in that mix of guys that nobody wants to use, but you may be forced to.
Speaking of iffy running backs, Nathan, big story number 4. There are a lot of frustrating running back situations right now. St. Louis, New England, and the Jets stand out. What are your feelings on Bilal Powell against Zach Stacy? Which way would you lean there?
I'd probably still lean with Bilal Powell. He still played the majority of the snaps last week. He's got a much better matchup with Pittsburgh, who, believe it or not, is giving up the most fantasy points to running backs this season on a per-game basis. So I'd still prefer Powell. I like what Stacy has to offer. I just don't think they're a very good offense. The Jets team actually surprisingly good because their defense is so good at stopping the run. They get to be on offense a little bit more. I prefer Powell. But I agree with you. All of them are pretty frustrating. Powell had that nice run, though, 3 straight games with double-digit fantasy points. I don't think anybody on St. Louis has gotten the double-digit fantasy points in a game yet this year.
And let's get to big story number 5. The Minnesota quarterback situation, cloudy. I mean, I got Matt Castle right now. I think we can count out Christian Ponder. But, Jamie, what do you think about Josh Freeman, say, week 9?
Well, I mean, let's start with week 7 because that's probably when he's going to start. So, if he comes out and starts to play well, then I think you have an opportunity to look at a quarterback in 2 quarterback leagues or, bye week replacement. There are some decent weapons there. The reason we don't like Greg Jennings was because Christian Ponder. The reason we don't really love Jerome Simpson is because of Christian Ponder. Matt Castle came in and you saw those guys make some plays, and Josh Freeman clearly can help elevate those guys to being third receivers, bye week replacement type guys. Maybe he helps get Kyle Rudolph more than just, or makes Kyle Rudolph more than just a touchdown threat. The impact that Adrian Peterson has on defenses allows a lot of single coverage and a lot of safeties to cheat up. So, a guy with a big arm like Josh Freeman, as we saw with Mike Williams over his, tenure last year with Vincent Jackson, he can turn these guys into decent playmakers and decent fantasy options. So you got to be optimistic if you own these guys getting Josh Freeman in there. And I think Josh Freeman now becomes somebody that can be a bye week replacement type guy for you.
ESPN expects Castle to be the starter there until he loses the job. So as long as he continues to play well, the Vikings are going to keep him there.
It's a possibility.
Exactly. I don't know if I trust him to be effective for the next 10 weeks of the season.
Time for the Coach's Corner. This is brought to you by the Volkswagen Jetta. Dave, this is from the mind of you. Unless it's a surefire stud, trading a running back after a big game that helped you win is one of the best moves you can make.
Yeah, and you know who the stud running backs are by this point in the season. And I know everybody's afraid to get rid of a running back that just helped you win a game, or maybe he was even on your bench. But if you've got a guy on your team that you're not sure can keep it up and he just had a big game, the time to trade him is now. And don't be shy about making trades. This is the time to do it. The 3 names that I wrote down were Pierre Thomas, Fred Jackson, and Knowshon Moreno. I'm not saying you get necessarily equal value for those 3, but if you can get really good value because people are desperate for running backs right now, if you could trade one of those 3 guys for something really good to help your team, you probably didn't plan on starting any of these 3 running backs when you drafted them. I think your team will pay off for the better. So sell high when you can on the non-elite running backs.
So I have a question, though, because Fred Jackson, Knowshon Moreno obviously playing well, and we're at a situation that we see across the league right now where running backs are hard to find.
Right.
Clearly, if you're getting a stud receiver, I can understand making that move. But
Sure.
if your team is lacking running backs, why would you give up on
That's
those
the thing.
2 guys?
I'm making the assumption that the people that would trade these guys aren't going to give them away if they don't need them.
Okay.
But no one drafted Pierre Thomas, Fred Jackson, Knowshon Moreno to be their second running back, much less their first.
Right,
Maybe
but
even their third or fourth or
But they may
fifth.
be in situations right now where they need those 2 guys. So you're just talking to the owner. That's
Oh yeah,
loaded.
if you need
That's
these
loaded.
guys, then I think you're handcuffed. I think
Okay.
you're stuck. But if you're not, and they're just kind of toiling on your bench, or maybe there's another stud that's toiling on your bench, and these guys have been starting for you, make a deal. Help your team out.
Coach's Corner. Excellent all caps penmanship, by the way.
That's what I do.
It's nice. We'll be right back. We got some waiver wire coming your way. We're going to get right to the quarterbacks, have a little more fun. Maybe we'll talk trade a little while later. This is Fantasy Football Today, brought to you by Volkswagen. Das Auto.